Earlier this week, we heard from Dakota Fanning about her new movie, American Pastoral.
Well, now we hear from two more of the stars from the movie, one of which is actually making his directorial debut. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning. Our Hollywood happening focuses on the movie American Pastoral, opening today. The film follows an American family across several decades. Ewan McGregor stars as a legendary high school athlete, Seymour the Swede Lvov, who is living the American dream.
I'm one of the journalists that's talking to you today that lived this.
All right.
Was part of it.
Yes, yes,
so
yes,
we
yes.
can have a lot to talk about.
Oh, good. Well, I hope you feel that we got some of it right.
Oh, boy, you sure did.
Oh,
you
good.
sure did. You covered those 10 years perfectly, I thought. And there's just so many layers to talk about in this movie. Now, you had to star in it, and you directed it. Based on a Pulitzer Prize-winning novel by Philip Roth, did you feel, because you were wearing the two hats, a little bit of pressure, not pressure, but responsibility to get it right?
Yes. Yeah. I think I had a responsibility to get it right. Firstly, for Philip Roth to be getting, I wanted to feel that the movie wasn't just borrowing his story, but that it represented his novel. And in that vein, I spent the 9 months of preparation I had for the movie living his book every day. I read it every day. There's a wonderful recording of it by an actor, Ron Silver, and I listened to it every day. If I was running or if I was driving, I'd have Ron on, you know. I've never met him, but I'd like to thank him because he really became one of my everyday companions. And I felt like I had to imbue his novel. I had to soak it up until 5, 6 weeks before we started shooting. I then had to put it down and just focus on the film script. But I wanted to make it feel like Philip Roth's feelings and thoughts, I guess. And then I had a responsibility to myself, as it was my first movie as a director. I wanted to get that right for me too, and also I had a responsibility to get the Swede right, and and there was a lot of responsibility going on.
A lot going on. I got carried back from the very beginning with the music, the soundtrack. I mean, wow! I just went right back to that time.
Good.
Your character, Swede, All-American, didn't go to college though, did he? He went right to work in the glove factory.
He went off to the Marines. So
the Marines,
instead of college, he went to the Marines. He joined the Marines in '44 and missed the end of the fighting. He was a sergeant, I think, in a Marines training camp, and they kept him there because he was such a good sports star. He was such a good sportsman that he was very good for their scores, you know, in the training camp. And then he missed the fighting, and then when he came out, he could quite easily have joined the Yankees or become a baseball star or a football star. But he took over his father's glove-making factory in Newark. And I feel like the Swede always did what he considered to be the right thing by everybody else, you know.
Well, Jennifer Connelly stars in American Pastoral as Dawn Dwyer, a locally sought-after Irish Catholic beauty queen who marries the Swede Lvov.
This family that you're, of course, the wife and mother, living the American dream.
Yes, they set out to. They have great energy and enthusiasm, and set out to. They moved to the countryside. Dawn is raising cows. They have a farm. They have everything seems to be shining upon them.
You can't escape what was happening in the 1960s.
Sure, it was a time of great change and turbulence, and you know, the beginning of the Vietnam War, and so with the subsequent generation, they you know, in this story represented by Mary, she rejects the values of her parents and takes umbrage with what they are trying to do and the way that they're living their lives, and fights for something else.
Found it difficult trying to live up to her successful parents. I mean, you were Miss New Jersey, very successful, very beautiful, and her father was an All-American everything, the Swede, so it had to be difficult for her. But you know, I remember this wasn't unusual for kids at that age in college and just starting college to rebel.
Yeah, I think that she can't I mean, for me, I think that she can't reconcile with the way she sees her parents living with the things that she sees other people suffering around the world, and the injustice and the necessary exploitation, even if her father is actually an exception to that rule and isn't personally exploiting anyone in his factory and isn't actually doing the things that maybe the character Rita Cohen is accusing him of. She feels that sort of more systematically there is a necessary exploitation to facilitate that lifestyle for some people, and she can't support that, and so she fights against that.
All around me are familiar faces, worn out places, worn out faces, bright and early for their daily races, going nowhere, going nowhere. Went to school and I was very nervous. No one knew me, no one knew me.
Police have widened their search for the missing teenager, Meredith Laval, for her involvement in the bombing of a post office.
Where is she? I find it kind of fun.
American Pastoral is based on the Pulitzer Prize-winning Philip Roth novel that chronicles the profound changes in the last half-century of American life. Ewan McGregor makes his directorial debut and also stars in the film, which captures the hopes and dreams of post-war America and the turmoil of the 1960s. With an excellent cast, director Ewan McGregor has to be proud of American Pastoral. It's rated R, my grade a solid B. Well, also opening today, the action-adventure Inferno starring Tom Hanks. And I'm going to see you right here next Tuesday on The Morning Blend with Vince Vaughn and Luke Bracey, two of the stars of Hacksaw Ridge.